The modern X-Men era can be a little bit confusing and overwhelming, and I know I'm not the only one. Therefore, I thought I'd make this video just to make your life a little bit easier to get a better understanding of what's out there, how you go about reading X-Men, what kind of collected edition options are there for you to pick up. Now, when I talk about the modern X-Men era, I'm specifically referring to the Jonathan Hickman era. And yeah, I know that he's not currently writing X-Men, but you never know what's gonna happen in the future. I merely call it that because he is the guy that started off the modern X-Men. He did a little bit of retconning, refreshed the series as a whole, and pushed it into a brand new direction. Welcome back, my fellow comic book friends, to Comic Casper. In this video, I'm gonna give you some more insight into the modern X-Men reading order, so let's kick it. So starting us off, we have, and this is the first part of the epic saga called Dawn of X, which started off in July of 2019. So first we have the Prelude series, which is actually extremely key, that being House of X and Powers of X, the first 6 issues of each, written by Jonathan Hickman. Then following on from that, it spins out into a whole bunch of comic book series at that stage, which is X-Men Volume 5, written by Jonathan Hickman, Marauders, written by Jerry Duggan, Vita Ayala, and Benjamin Percy, Excalibur Volume 4, written by Tini Howard, New Mutants Volume 4, written by Jonathan Hickman and Ed Brisson, X-Force Volume 6, written by Benjamin Percy, Fallen Angels Volume 2, written by Brian Edward Hill, Wolverine Volume 7, also written by Benjamin Percy, Cable Volume 4, written by Jerry Duggan, Hellions, written by Zeb Wells, and X-Factor Volume 4, written by Leah Williams. Then we also have some one-shots in that era, that being the giant-size X-Men, Jean Grey and Emma Frost, Nightcrawler, Magneto, Phantom X, and Storm. Now we are getting ready for the first X-Men event, but before we do that, we have to jump into the Prelude issues, that being Excalibur issue 12 and X-Men issue 12. Then we can jump onto the big 22-issue X-Men event titled X of Swords. Now, what's consisted inside of it? Well, it's essentially a combination of the aforementioned that you have to piece together, as well as a whole bunch of other comic book series. So, in this event, you have X of Swords Creation, issue 1, X-Factor 4, Wolverine 8, X-Force 13, Marauders 13, Hellions 5, New Mutants 13, Cable 5, Excalibur 13, X-Men 13, X of Swords Stasis 1, X-Men 14, Marauders 14, Marauders 15, Excalibur 14, Wolverine 7, X-Force 14, Hellions 6, Cable 6, X-Men 15, Excalibur 15, and X of Swords Destruction 1. In that order specifically. Now, straight after that, we are moving on to the next phase in this big epic saga, that being Reign of X, which started off in December of 2020. So some of the ongoing series that are still remaining, and there are some new ones as well in here. Hellions, going from issue 7 by Zeb Wells, X-Factor from issue 5 by Leah Williams, Sword Volume 2 starting off by Al Ewing, Marauders, continuation by Jerry Duggan from issue 16, New Mutants from issue 14, Vita Ayala, X-Force 15 by Benjamin Percy, Excalibur 16 by Tini Howard, Wolverine 8 by Benjamin Percy, X-Men 16 by Jonathan Hickman, Cable 7 by Jerry Duggan, Children of the Atom, issue 1 by Vita Ayala, Way of X by Simon Spurrier, issue 1, X-Corp issue 1 by Tini Howard and Jason Liu, and X-Men issue 1, the new volume 6 by Jerry Duggan. And we also have some limited series such as X-Men The Trial of Magneto by Leah Williams, Inferno volume 2 by Jonathan Hickman, X of Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine by Benjamin Percy, and Devil's Reign X-Men by Jerry Duggan, which ties into the big Devil's Reign event that spins out of the Daredevil comics at the time. We also have some one-shots such as the King in Black Marauders, X-Men Curse of the Man-Thing, Planet-Size X-Men, Cable Reloaded, X-Men The Onslaught Revelation, The Death of Doctor Strange, X-Men Black Knight, Secret X-Men. Then we are moving on to the next phase, which is Destiny of X, which commenced in March of 2022. The ongoing series are as follows: Immortal X-Men by Karen Gillan, Marauders Volume 2 by Steve Orlando, X-Force Volume 6 still going on with Benjamin Percy from issue 27. We have X-Men Red, which starts off by Al Ewing, X-Men Volume 6 continuing with Jerry Duggan from issue 10, Wolverine Volume 7 from issue 20 continued by Benjamin Percy, Knights of X by Tini Howard, New Mutants from issue 25 by Vita Ayala, Danny Lore, and Charlie Jane Anders, Legion of X started off by Simon Spurrier, Deadpool by Alyssa Wong, and Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain by Tini Howard. Some of the limited series that fall in there are Sabretooth Volume 4 by Victor Lavelle, X Judgment Day by Karen Gillan, X Terminators by Leah Williams, Sabretooth and the Exiles by Victor Lavelle, Dark Web X-Men by Jerry Duggan, Bishop War College by J.L. Holtham, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants by Al Ewing, Nightcrawlers by Simon Spurrier, Immortal X-Men by Karen Gillan, Rogue and Gambit by Stephen Phillips, New Mutants Lethal Legion by Charlie Jane Anders. Within these limited series, you've got the next big event, which is X Judgment Day. So it's composed of those first 6 issues, but also a whole bunch of other tie-ins that come from all over the Marvel spectrum that tie into it into one big event. Then we have the Sins of Sinister event, which is composed of the following issues: Storm of the Brotherhood of Mutants, Nightcrawlers, Immortal X-Men, the Sins of Sinister one-shot, which starts it off, and then that finishes off with Sins of Sinister Dominion. Now, some of the other one-shots in that particular era, we have Marauders Annual, X-Force Annual, Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird, Free Comic Book Day Avengers X-Men, X-Men Hellfire Gala, Axe X-Men, X-Men Annual, X-Men Before the Fall, Sons of X, X-Men Before the Fall, Mutant First Strike, X-Men Before the Fall, Heralds of Apocalypse, and X-Men Before the Fall, Sinister 4. Now this brings us to the very next era, that being Fall of X, which actually commences from August 2023. Some of the titles that we can expect there are Astonishing Iceman, written by Steve Orlando, X-Men Volume 6 continuation by Jerry Duggan from issue 25, Immortal X-Men continuation by Karen Gillan from issue 14, Uncanny Avengers Volume 4 written by Jerry Duggan, X-Men Red continuation by Al Ewing from issue 14, Invincible Iron Man by Jerry Duggan from issue 9. It's interesting that this kind of becomes an X book. Then we have Realm of X written by Torren Gronbeck, X-Force Volume 4 continuing by Benjamin Percy from issue 43, Wolverine Volume 7 also by Benjamin Percy continuing from issue 36. Then we have some of these limited series, that being Children of the Vault by Dennis Camp, Alpha Flight Volume 5 by Ed Brisson, Dark X-Men by Steve Fox, and Uncanny Spider-Man by Simon Spurrier. Then we have a one-shot, Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Alpha. Well, how on earth would you go about reading all of this? Well, I think the easiest pathway would be to actually get the trade paperbacks, to start off with House of X, Powers of X, then move your way through the Dawn of X volumes, that being from Volume 1 all the way through to Volume 16. You still should be able to find most of them, if not all of them, if you search around the web. Then you can go on to X of Swords if you want to experience that event. You can get it in a softcover, as well as House of X, Powers of X, and X of Swords. It's very unlikely you will find these in hardcover. You might still be able to find these in the trade paperback format. Then you also have a Juggernaut series. I failed to mention that. Now, even though the series is not part of Dawn of X, it happens during the Dawn of X period, so you can check that one out as well, a trade paperback. When it comes to Reign of X, some of the collected editions available there are the Reign of X trade paperbacks. Just so you know, these trade paperbacks are a combination of all of the aforementioned series that I mentioned in each particular era. So Reign of X Volume 1 all the way through to Volume 14. Then you can get the X-Men Hellfire Gala Red Carpet Edition. You could probably find that in the hardcover format or the trade paperback format. And then moving on to the Trial of X Volume 1 trade paperback all the way through to Volume 12. Then in terms of the Destiny X collected editions, you start off from Volume 1 trade paperback and then you move your way through to Volume 9. There's also other hardcovers that you can get, you might still be able to find, which just focus solely on each individual series as opposed to having a combination of all of them, such as Excalibur, Marauders, Hellions, Cable. You can get the X-Men Omnibus by Jonathan Hickman, Wolverine hardcover, and the X-Force hardcover. I think that's all the hardcovers that have been published to date, but mind you, some of these can get a bit tricky to find. So knowing that there's still gonna be some gaps here and there, or maybe you might not be able to collect everything in a collected edition, fear not. Knowing Marvel, they want your money, so most likely they will do some sort of larger collected editions, that being omnibuses moving forward. I have a good feeling about that will be the case, despite having the trade paperbacks, despite having some of those individual hardcovers, and despite having an omnibus here and there. I get a good feeling that we're gonna get some bigger omnibuses that will condense all of this once we probably reach the end, whenever that is. And hey, this next upcoming saga, that being the Fall of X, could actually be the last one, but we'll find out as it moves along. I hope some of this has made some sense and provided you with a little bit of clarity on what's out there, and you will make up your own mind as to what you will enjoy. And I think a good way of going about that is to actually jump into the trade paperbacks, starting off with House of X, Powers of X, then Dawn of X Volume 1, then you'll be able to see which particular series actually resonate with you the most, because you get a bit of a taste of everything. Just before I wrap it up, now the way that I have gone about it is I've done my best to actually find the hardcover collected editions, because you know I like to have each individual series, so I actually went out and got Excalibur Volume 1 and 2, Marauders, Cable, House of X, Powers of X, Hellfire hardcover, X Lives of Wolverine, and X Deaths of Wolverine. I really love that one by Benjamin Percy, really surprised me. I went and got the Wolverine and the X-Force ones because I wanted to get a taste of everything, and I also wanted to get a big comprehensive idea of what's out there. Now there's a whole bunch of other series that still haven't got the hardcover treatment, which I'm expecting that they will sometime soon. I guess with the next one coming up, that being Sins of Sinister, that will get a hardcover edition very, very soon, as well as the Judgment Day event, and probably with many more to come as the months go on. But I still have a good feeling that omnibuses are around the bend, but only time will tell. Look, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, hit it with a like. If you didn't, hit it with a dislike. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Look after yourselves. I will hit you up with some more comic book content very soon. Read some awesome comics, and until next time.